low-paid jobs, Madam Speaker. So just to conclude, the priority for the province should be to expand educational opportunities.
Thank you, member.
Thank you.
I recognize the member for Kelowna Lake Country.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker. It's nice to be standing in the legislature again after a week away, and I'd like to thank the member for Vancouver-Kensington for bringing this issue to the floor. And you know, in particular, saying that over 70% of the jobs coming forward will require post-secondary education. And that's probably one of the reasons why I was asked to respond, because as the member might know, there are many people in this legislature who are continuing to access post-secondary education, I being one of them, working on my PhD and in health economics, Madam Speaker. And I can say that at 54, maybe the brain doesn't work as fast as it did at 24, but it'll be fine. Member for Chilliwack says it'll be fine. But Madam Speaker, just keep working on it until the day we die. I hope everyone has that opportunity in this great province, in this great country, actually, to continue with their aspirations for lifelong learning. I attended a session on Friday by the Baha'i faith, and they were talking about how in Iran, Madam Speaker, the Baha'is are excluded from post-secondary, and they are actually put in jail if their students are teaching post-secondary education. It was heart-rending to see how people around the world are facing these kinds of challenges, achieving what the Speaker has said and what I believe all Canadians value as a fundamental right, and that's access to post-secondary education and access to lifelong learning. So when I take that back to our discussion right here, I see how fortunate we are actually in this province. Not only is it a right and it's available throughout the province, but this government, preceding my arrival in 2009 and a few members of the legislature in 2009, this government had invested hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in post-secondary infrastructure around the province. I know, much to the chagrin of some of my colleagues from Kamloops, I know Kelowna Lake Country was blessed with an expanded UBC Okanagan campus, Madam Speaker. And I say that, of course, in jest. Kamloops and Kelowna love each other. You know, you go and visit that campus, and there are many campuses like it around the province. They're just top-notch, great places for learning. So I congratulate the government for all the investments that they've made to allow students to actually continue learning at home in a free and democratic province as we have. So I think part of it has to do with the silo mentality, and I'm guilty of that as well as many other people, where you, especially after a long session, as you start thinking about just a particular issue, but you don't understand how it affects others. And so the Ministry of Education has come up and said, look, why are we funding people who are taking courses that are non-core, that are periphery to the core courses? And in a large part, the people are actually not completing the courses. So we're applying money to resources, to people, to teach these courses when the students don't stay in the courses, and the courses don't lead to where we want them to be, which is that 70% that require post-secondary education. So I congratulate the Ministry of Education for leaving the pipeline, so to speak, leaving those silos and saying, how do we expand services with a limited budget? And they're saying, well, maybe some of the things we need to look at are those that aren't that effective. And if students are voting with their feet, Madam Speaker, if they're actually leaving these programs, then they're already telling us that maybe we need to put our priorities elsewhere. And that's what the Ministry of Education has done. You know, the government continues to invest in early learning, including the addition of 10 new Strong Start programs this year alone. And the government has 326 Strong Start programs serving 385 communities across the province. So here's where some of the money is going to, Madam Speaker. And if you move out of the silo of education, you then get into other silos that we have, like healthcare, like social services. You know, I constantly hear from people that we need to always review priorities in healthcare and how much we're putting into social services. Well, you can't do that, Madam Speaker, without constantly reviewing what you're doing in every single part of the silo so that you can expand those services in other areas. So while I understand what the Speaker is getting to is that, you know, we need to continue to look at our post-secondary education, make sure our students move through high school and graduate and then have the opportunity of lifelong learning, which we do in this province, much more than the Baha'i have in Iran, Madam Speaker. I think it's important that we continue to nurture that spirit of learning and continue to look at, are we doing everything in each of those silos that's the most effective use of taxpayer dollars And if not, then why aren't we reevaluating those uses and applying those dollars to elsewhere where they can be most effective? So I'd just like to thank again the member for Vancouver-Kensington for introducing the topic, Madam Speaker, and to say that we've done a lot and there's a lot more to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, member.